COVID-19 has placed the whole world in chaos. In crisis of COVID-19, the Korean government has made the K-quarantine standards that have attracted the attention of the world based on its transparent and systematic responses and democratic consent of social members. Foreign media highly appreciated the maturity of Korean society in responding to COVID-19. And the Director General of WHO praised it as a noteworthy example. K-quarantine that attracts the attention of the whole world. How did the Korean Fire Service respond to the national disaster? January 2020, the first confirmed case. The cases were well controlled until the rapid spread around the Daegu and Gyeongbuk area in February 2020. The Korean government took rapid and extraordinary measures, and the Korean Fire Service also made crucial decisions. Full-scale response at national level. The mobilization of firefighting forces is a joint response system for the boundaries of cities and provinces during a national disaster. It was a powerful response that was performed 3 days after the first confirmed case in Daegu on February 18th. The mobilization orders were executed 4 times. 10% of the ambulances in 18 cities and provinces gathered in Daegu, where 2.46 million people live. The resource gathering point was operated by organizing 5 support and control departments to efficiently control the ambulances and provide essential transportation services. At the resource gathering point, code numbers were sequentially given to transporting ambulances for confirmed cases to prepare a smooth transporting system. Moreover, a dispatch center, protective suit provision center, and disinfection area were designated and operated. In addition, a vehicle maintenance group was prepared to carry out systematic safety maintenance of the mobilized vehicle. Psychological counseling buses and mobile rest tents were also operated to provide convenient facilities for the EMS crew to recuperate. The resource gathering point was notified about the transporting plan for confirmed cases from the Daegu Central Control Headquarters and focused on guiding the duties for each sub-department of the Resource Gathering Point Dispatch Center and emergency transporting. In addition to the transportation of confirmed cases, fire services also conducted quarantine activities by providing decontamination trucks from the military and related organizations. The Korean Fire Service was in charge of transporting 6,608 confirmed cases, which is 98.2% of 6,725 confirmed cases, occurred for 42 days in Daegu area. Severe cases were transported to the hospitals, and mild cases were transported to residential treatment centers. Such efforts contributed to preventing the spread of COVID-19. The Korean Fire Service transported an average of 300 confirmed cases a day, not only from Daegu, but also nationwide when the infection was at a serious level. A total of 7,243 EMS crew were sent out at that time, but none of these crew members have been infected. This result could be achieved thanks to thorough infection management by the Korean Fire Service. EMS forces at the forefront of quarantine were sent out with a minimum number of members to limit the exposure of infection. Moreover, the influx of the virus from EMS crew was thoroughly blocked by wearing personal protective equipment according to the type of patient. EMS crew wore personal protective equipment according to the type of patient. In case of a Type A patient that is classified as a confirmed case, they wore a 5-piece set of anti-contamination clothing. In case of Type B patients, EMS crew wore 4-piece sets of protective gear. In case of Type C patients who belong to other cases, they wore 3-piece sets. After transporting not only the confirmed cases of COVID-19, but also suspected cases, such as those with respiratory symptoms, the crew disinfected the inside of ambulances and all the equipment using products permitted by the Ministry of Environment while wearing personal protective equipment. After having enough ventilation for more than 2 hours, the surfaces were wiped down with disposable towels and transportation services were carried out again. In addition, medical waste were sealed in inner bags, discarded, and treated in an exclusive container. A total of 723 infection management rooms were installed nationwide in order to sterilize and disinfect equipment after transporting patients. Camping caravans were installed in the parking areas of the fire station to isolate EMS crew who inevitably contacted suspected cases during the transportation. And temporary isolation residential facilities were operated using emergency accommodations to thoroughly prevent the secondary infection between staffs. March 2020. At last, the spread of COVID-19 has entered a momentary lull. However, this pandemic is not over. Contrary to the situation in Korea, there were 70,000 confirmed cases a day overseas, including the United States and Europe, showing explosive increases. Unlike other countries, the Republic of Korea has not locked the doors of its borders. Instead, it operated a more thorough quarantine system. Special travel alerts have been expanded to all entrants regardless of nationality from March 19th. Manpower and essential equipment are placed for the performance of entrance procedures to carry out quarantine-related transportation at Incheon International Airport. EMS transportation teams use EMS buses to shuttle suspected patients, such as those with high temperatures, who are among entrants coming from the airport to temporary waiting facilities. According to the results of diagnostic tests, the team transports confirmed cases to hospitals and residential treatment centers. Meanwhile, those who were free from any symptoms are taken back to the airport. In fact, EMS forces transported an average of 227 entrants a day, a total of 41,652 from March 19th to October 31st, blocking the influx of viruses from overseas. The Korean Fire Service will continue to operate transportation services at the Incheon International Airport until the end of the quarantine. Nationwide EMS forces maintain a full-scale response preparation after establishing safe transportation system for confirmed and suspected cases. As of October 31st, they are continuing to respond quickly by transporting 16,351 confirmed cases, 86,529 suspected cases, and 1,012 individuals between hospitals and carrying out the delivery of 1,623 specimens for rapid response. The efforts of the Korean Fire Service continues even in invisible places. Volunteer EMS crew visited mask factories to help them and supported selling publicly distributed masks to pharmacies nationwide. In addition, fire prevention consultations were conducted to prevent the risk of fire as mask manufacturing has rapidly increased. In addition, a special support plan was prepared for the fire safety industry suffering from COVID-19. And that's not all. They even participated in blood donation drives and helped stabilize blood supply when the blood reserves were rapidly decreased because of COVID-19. The Korean Fire Service has been at the forefront of COVID-19 relentlessly, playing an important role in K-quarantine and attracting the attention of the whole world. The war against COVID-19 is continuing even at this moment. The Korean Fire Service will do everything in its power for public safety until COVID-19 ends.